The following may contain language which will be offensive to some people and inappropriate for children. Still here? Then pour your favorite beverage and let's get this fucking show started.
Fantastic Forum, assemble. You're watching Fantastic Forum, the premier show about comic books and your live weekly conversation about entertainment and geek culture. We are the Fantastic Forum, coming to you live and direct from the Hall of F. Hope every wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night, as the case may be, depending on where you are in the world. And if you're not, you should stick with us. We'll help you take up a notch. You have the usual suspects in the building. First, he is our riddle inside of an Enigma Chaplin Chinese finger. If you don't know him, you love him anyway. He's our silent assassin, Jay.
Hey everybody, what's up?
Oh, not the finger guns. Oh no. Dang, Jay is on that popcorn already. Oh my God, he's unleashed. Next, we have the backbone, the pillar, the strength of Fantastic Forum, our non-conformable baller and resident strongman, Moses Magna.
You know, I fucking hate you guys, man.
Oh,
You guys
jeez.
pieces of shit. None of you told me, like, I got to go back and find our Blue Beetle review in the past so I could, like, comment and be like, you guys didn't, because I don't know. I don't know what I wrote in your review because I didn't watch it. I finally watched it this weekend. And I'm like, man, these guys fucking suck.
Wait, listen, we'll come back to that. Let me just get through this intro. Jesus Christ. As for myself, my name is Lawrence Young. They call me Mary Young. Welcome to Fantastic Forum. Shout out to Oz. He'll be along in a minute. Intrepid senior reporter. But yeah, we got a great show for you today because we're going to be talking to you all about the latest from the MCU Disney Plus series, Echo. We're going to be talking to you about friggin' Skybound's Energon universe, latest entry with Duke, and we're going to be talking to you all about Distillery's The Devil's Cut, which is a new comic book publisher with a lot of friggin' superstar writers and artists trying to make their way, trying to make a splash in the comic book industry. So we got all that happening today. Plus, whatever else it is that you all want to talk about. And we'll tell you how it is you can do that in just a moment. But before we do, we want to make sure to thank Mr. Scott Rubin, because without him, this show would not exist. So thank you, Scott Rubin. Hope you are doing well, good sir. Yeah. Moses. What now? You're talking about Blue Beetle?
Yeah, man. You guys reviewed that movie, and I think you guys said it was bad. And
I said it was bad.
I think you did too, or you didn't explain it right for sure. I know that. I know that's a fact. Like,
No, I disagree. I think I explained it really well, and I think you gave
you didn't tell me about the Macario references.
About the what?
Macario?
Yeah, no, I think I did.
No, you didn't.
I think I did.
You don't know what Macario is?
The friggin' whatchamacallit, the superhero, right?
No,
the cartoon.
Nah, not even that. That it's
what?
You know,
what are we talking about?
Not a cartoon, but
well,
the mascot.
You guys are thinking of Chapulín Colorado, but I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about something deeper, man. Something deeper.
Oh,
Which is no deeper than Chapulín Rivera.
Oh, Jesus, Joe, you should not have done that. You should not have attempted that at all, friend.
It's the greatest thing ever. I love you, Jay.
Oh no, it's the worst. It's like I could friggin' hear ancient friggin' Mexican people turning at their graves. Like, what is
that
right now?
They don't care. They don't care.
Oh, we definitely need to isolate that.
Yeah. Right at 3:58. Heck says he almost fell out of his chair.
Like, whoa. It's like Joe. It was like, look, Joe obviously is from the Midwest. There's no way anyone that is grown up in Los Angeles could butcher it that badly. Like he's never heard a person speak Spanish.
But yeah, no, there's a scene they're watching TV and they're watching a movie, and all you see is a bunch of candles in the movie. It's they're watching Macario, which is it's the first foreign film to win an Academy Award on the Oscars,
Oh,
and it was a Mexican
okay.
film. And
Oh,
and then, but the thing is, when he does the thing where he talks to his dad, they reference those candles of the movie he was watching, because that's one of the things in the movie. It's that everybody's soul is a candle just waiting to be snuffed out. So he goes to the land where the to the underworld where all the candles still burn, forever. That's where he talks to his dad, which is like
oh,
it makes it the movie makes it seem like he's like having a Simba moment or that, but it's really all in his brain because he was watching that movie earlier. So before everybody gets like, oh, they're having like a Lion King moment or it's spiritual, he's more spiritual than he's not. He's in his brain because that's how his brain. He was watching that movie earlier in the movie, And
see, now that I did not relay all that to you. No question on that, because I did
absolutely.
not know.
That's what I'm saying. You explained it wrong.
Well, I mean, listen. In fairness, it's like Oz is definitely more Latino than I am, and instead of explaining that to you, he just hated on the whole idea that Mexican families should
Like
be
tacos.
in a movie. Yeah, right. We all, like I said, that was our whole thing, right? We all like tacos. What are you talking about?
Hey, it's not like he
You know,
always
but-
ate tacos. Like he came back to eat his family's tacos.
Right, dude. And this is what I
Like, his
said at the
he
time, where I
was
was like,
off in
dude, he
college.
just came home. Right. And so, like, but so I don't know what
Like,
to tell you. But I was telling
my
you
niece
that
in Chicago, like my niece in Chicago, when she comes here, she's like, I want to go eat Mexican food. Like, because
Yeah.
in Chicago, they don't have
their
they're
Mexican
Mexican.
food. Right.
No. Like
I've- 'cause-
that's why that's why in the Midwest and all, if all those restaurants are like that in the Midwest and all these, that's why they want the border sealed, because they're like, this is what they're bringing here.
No, man. And so trust me, like I was the one telling you, like, dude, I'm like, this joint was like the best DC movie I'd seen in a long time.
Oh yeah, and it's really I really enjoyed it, man. It's that family has a lot more purpose than the Marvel's family.
Well, see,
Marvel, like and somebody dies. Remember, Larry, I said somebody should have died in that family.
you did say that. You did say that. And
this family has
someone does die.
a bigger purpose for the hero and his journey than the Marvels, the Kamala Khan's family in the Marvels has.
What I will say is this: is I feel like the family in Blue Beetle and the family in the Marvels actually both serve the same purpose. However, it's executed better in Blue Beetle than it is in the Marvels. That I can definitely give you.
If you take the family out of the Marvels, the movie happens exactly the same.
I don't think that's true.
It's true. It's 100% true.
Yeah,
it's 1,000% true. It is.
Yeah.
You told me that. You just don't want to say it on air. Like,
no, we didn't have that conversation.
I know. I just fucking with
you. Wait a minute. I wouldn't do that. I was like, wait, what? I was like,
I almost got you.
Mo. I know. You said it so convincingly. I was just like, wait, what? I was like, when did we have? I was sitting here trying to think about, like, was I in the barbershop drunk? I'm like, I know we drink early sometimes at the barbershop before I even have breakfast. So I'm like, I might have said some craziness that I didn't mean. I don't know. I was like, but wait a minute. That's how. It's like I don't get drunk and say things I don't mean. I mess around and start using larger words. That's all. That's all. Anyway, but I'm glad that you enjoyed it. Like I thought it was an enjoyable movie too. And,
yeah, no, I thought it was really good. Like, but yeah, too bad. R.I.P. that universe.
Right. Oh. Here comes the curmudgeon. Here comes the enemy of all things Latino.
I hate it. What are we talking about?
Mo finally saw Blue Beetle. He's talking about how much he loves it and how we didn't explain it right because he was under the impression it wasn't a good movie, but I think he was only listening to you because you're more Latino than the rest of us. I think I explained that perfect. I think that's exactly what happened. Like, all Mo heard was
of course he likes it. It's the Taco Bell of Latino superheroes.
What does that
No,
even
it's actually
mean?
fighting against the Taco Bell. Like the whole point is that the white people are trying to move into the area.
What is that? Like, so is Taco Bell bad? Is that what we're trying to say?
Yeah,
Or
it's
we're trying
white.
to say
It's not authentic.
Yeah,
I love Taco
Bell's
Bell.
Who says Taco Bell's authentic? Who's making that claim?
A lot of people.
The original guy,
the Mid-Coast.
the guy
There's
that
a lot of people.
the guy that stole the recipe from the original restaurant.
Oh yeah, was that in that movie?
Heck says that Jay has to say Chapulín Colorado for Oz now.
I think I've heard him say that.
I couldn't say it before because I only half heard him.
You gotta go back and watch the beginning of the show. So you can hear
yeah,
Jay.
we'll let you out. Go watch the show from the beginning if they let you rewind. And then come back.
Oh, dude, it was so epic. Oh my god. But anyway. Okay.
I would tell you guys you should watch some of his episodes, but a lot of that humor, it's like a lot of conversational Spanish. Like it's not just like set up punchline. It's like they're having it's more nuanced. You kind of have to know Spanish pretty well to get a lot of those.
Atandra.
I believe that.
I can tell you one joke that's really good. He's not the superhero character. He's a different character. He plays the little kid that's like homeless that lives in the little courtyard, and he's essentially Black Jesus in that show. Mm-hmm. And somebody put out a toilet, and then they're having gossip around the courtyard, and he's like listening, and he's like he gets entranced in the conversation, listening, and he just takes a seat listening, and he's listening intently, and everybody's just giving the gossip, and then at the end, they're like, all right, let's get out of here, let's go. And then he just stands up, and he's like, does anybody have any paper? And that's the punchline of the scene.
That's pretty funny, though.
He's like, come on, get up, we gotta go. Like, there's no paper. Anybody got any paper? Hilarious. Yeah, I watched that, so you know where my humor comes from.
Indeed. All right. Well, shoot. Let's have the intern tell the people how to get down Fantastic Four, and then we'll get to the show.
Want to get in on the action? Call Fantastic Forum on Skype and join the fun. Too shy to call in? That's okay. You can join the Discord chat room available at
fantasticforum.live.
Join the party. You know you want to. Want to get in on the action? Call Fantastic Forum on Skype and join the fun. Too shy to call in? That's okay. You can join the Discord chat room available at
fantasticforum.live.
Join the party. You know you want to.
I was looking at my little monitor here at myself and thinking, why is my color so off? Like it's got this weird tint to it. And I'm wearing yellow glasses.
Oh,
you're saying there's a weird tint to it without the?
Yeah, I think there is still though.
It's the whatchamacallit, the Green Lantern.
There you go. There you go. Much better. I was like, Oz has jaundice. I was like, oh man. I would have to talk to him after the show. Be like, hey man, what's wrong? Are you not eating enough like friggin' fruits and vegetables? Like, why do you look like that? Yeah, but no, I
turned all my fruits into liquids.
Yeah, there it is.
The probiotics.
All right. You all ready to talk some Echo?
Yeah.
Also,
no, more about gel coat.
When the fourth round,
don't you call it?
Does it look good already? Okay. Jumbo Scampi for limited.
All right. So Disney Plus and Marvel have done it again. Another release. Highly anticipated. Echo.
I don't know if they released it or it escaped.
Five episodes all at once. Disney Plus has been basically experimenting with different releases or different ways to release these shows. And Echo, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's maybe one of their.
Is it only 5 episodes?
Yeah.
Why is it so slow? I feel like I'm watching a Snyder show.
How many did you watch?
I watched 3.
How many did you watch?
Oh man,
I watched 3, and I was thinking, man, I didn't even get halfway. I thought there'd be like 8 or 9. I know there's 5.
I think it's only 5 episodes. And listen, Oz, you actually have watched more Echo than any of the rest of us, I think. Here. So, it's interesting that you say that, having been 3 episodes in, like you still feel like it's moving way too slow. Like you don't think they're going to be able to wrap stuff up in 2 episodes?
I
or
mean,
you're just like, I just don't care about what's happening.
They probably will, but it feels like they're wasting a whole lot of time.
Okay, that's fair.
That
is
adding. Especially in.
Go ahead, Mo. No, please.
No.
I'll
add it in my review. They're adding stuff to it to give it more substance than it needs. But I'll get to that with my review section. But
how many episodes did you guys watch? Just 1, 2?
I've only seen the first one.
I watched
Me
2.
also.
So do you guys even know her powers yet?
No. I just know she can fight and shoot.
Those aren't her powers. The powers.
No, she's. They're doing the. Larry, you know the Thunderbird thing. Larry, remember the. She's like the Iron Fist. They gave her the Phoenix powers that she had in the comics.
No, it's not even that.
No, I mean she was a host of the Phoenix in the comics. Like it's not like powers. So she's the Phoenix host.
Well, they're giving her powers that she didn't have.
Like in the
I assume that's why they were adding. Go ahead, Larry.
Say again. I was gonna say in the comics,
go ahead.
She had the like she could basically like anything she sees, she can do.
She's Taskmaster.
So, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's kind of like it's kind of
better differences, but I mean, overall, general, she's Taskmaster.
Yeah, so that's her skill set.
The Phoenix.
That ain't her in this show.
Oh, okay. So they gave her some
everything she can do, she does because she channels her ancestors. So like how Jay's saying she could fight and she could shoot. Not really. There's a scene where she's shooting, but they flash between her shooting and one of her ancestors that was a really good shot. Like Annie Oakley, basically. So is it really Echo, or is it the spirit of her ancestor shooting through her, even though one is shooting like a huge rifle and she's got a handgun? I'm sure it translates.
That's interesting. So it's kind of like Brave Star channeling the different, like which I catch like.
Nobody knows.
Remember,
what
Larry?
that is.
Look, you just
Nobody knows
Larry,
what Brave Star is.
You just pointed me. You just proved me right, Larry. What I said last week. I know you don't remember that when something is not good, you just say it's interesting. You just said right now it's interesting.
Dude, this show's so bad. Like you guys saw that first fight scene. You guys enjoyed that?
Which scene is the first fight scene? Like,
well, it might not be the first one.
Yeah,
it's the one
when they go with the gangsters.
Where Daredevil shows up.
Oh yeah, I did. Y'all didn't like that?
I did. Like there's there's some guy like just standing around with a coffee mug, like fighting, but he never lets go of the coffee mug. Like that didn't look weird.
He's using it as a weapon.
And I think it was just shot wrong. They were trying to do that.
Trying to run away.
They're trying to do that single shot thing that Daredevil does because he shows up in that scene, and it doesn't work. It looks like they did the practice run and then just shot that.
You're like, let's use that one.
Just the timing is off, and I don't know if it's the actors or the stunt doubles, but it's the actors. It was just off. But later on, there's just another like kind of warehouse like fight scene that looks better because it's actually cut properly. They didn't try to do that one shot. So I really think
that's the problem. The problem with the issue you have, Oz, is that they didn't do it in one continuous shot, but they wanted to look like a one continuous shot. So it looks off because the angles change off. Like it changes like almost the focal point of the lens changes. Like it goes into wide lens over a tight lens over the course of the shot. But I can't complain about that. Like those fights were good, and it really was just her watching everybody until she had to step in. So I don't care what was going on, as long as she's the one watching and knowing how to capitalize on the situation.
See, I honestly think it's intentionally shot because I feel like the scene initially is chaos, and I really think that's what is trying to be conveyed, where it's like all this chaos happens. And then she gets brought into the fight, and the guy like rushes her, and then which they kind of do in first person, which I thought was pretty awesome. And then once that happens, you kind of swing around, and then she kind of gets pulled into the fight, and then she basically starts kicking everybody's ass until Daredevil shows up, and you'll see that the way that the camera moves and everything completely changes when those two are fighting each other. Which, it's like it feels a lot more stable, a lot less chaotic because it's like, it's a face-off basically. And I thought it was done really well personally, just because it felt like the moment, because it's like, these guys bust into this room and just start trying to kill everybody. And it doesn't necessarily go as well as they were hoping at first, if Echo's not there, those two guys probably get taken, Or even if they had a third guy, they might have gotten taken, But I don't know. I had nothing negative to say about it.
To me,
it looked like crap. Wow. I
like that first episode. Like the actual like movements were fine. Like Daredevil jumping through the thing. Like everything was. The movements were fine. It just didn't feel fluid. It didn't. It felt like a practice run. That's why I keep calling it that. It felt like the practice run. And then you guys only saw the first episode, but every episode does something that's just like so stupid. I'm gonna tell you the opening. I'm gonna tell you the opening to episode 2, just because I almost stopped watching it when I saw this.
I was just like, no.
It's a flashback scene. It's another, because you're each episode you get to know a different ancestor that she's going to channel. And so this ancestor, there's two groups of natives, and they're playing this game, some kind of field hockey. I'm sure it's based on a real game. I don't know its name. But they're playing this game. First to get to 10 wins, and the loser is exiled from this area. So this is like a champion. This is a big deal. It's a championship game, and one side is down like 9-3, like one more point, and this team over there is going to win. Now they go to this tent and call in the guy that knows how to play the game, and he comes in. He just scores point after point. He brings it up to 9-9. I'm sitting there going, "You got Kobe sitting on the bench in the championship game. Why are you going to wait for the last 5 minutes to bring him out when you're about to lose?" That it's like little dumb things like that. Like I don't know what they were trying to like. They were trying to make this guy seem like a complete badass, but you've been sitting out till you're 1 point away from losing. when he can obviously like score, it just I almost turned it off at that point.
But
this
see,
is
that's like, and this is where where's my sign? Need some.
There's a comic where Kobe sits on the bench for like the first.
No, like, that's the thing. Like you're bitching about this show about the wrong things. It's not like the fucking comic book, like at all. Like I don't give a fuck who plays Claus or what the fuck. What I care is that they're making this character into this mystical fucking Native American character, which isn't that what we need. We just need a badass non-mystical Native character, which what she was in the comic. Like, if you want to do representation and shit, right? Like Disney says they want to do, why you got to make it a mystical fucking Native? Just make her a fucking regular badass assassin. That's what she is in the comic. It's there. Why do you have to do all this other shit? You know? Like that. That's my gripe.
I would agree.
You know? Like that's the whole thing. Like, I mean, you guys, Larry and Joe, you guys have been fight before with the mystical Negro, as they call it in literary. You know, I know that's a thing, right?
Negro.
Yeah, it's magic.
There is a movie called The Magical Negro.
Right, that's where the thing comes from.
Oh.
The Legend of Bad Pants.
That's such a good movie.
It is a good movie. Yeah.
Yeah, but either way, like the thing is, this is like, if you're gonna bitch about all this shit with the show, bitch about what you really need to be bitching about, not the fucking lacrosse scene or the fight scene at the beginning. It's about the characterization. Like they're doing her different and they're doing it wrong. Like I saw pictures of David Mack at the premiere, and he's all smiling. I'm like, you fucking bitch. And I love David Mack. You know, I have his art hanging on my walls around here. But it's like, dude, like they're literally like changing what you did. Like, why even be there at the premiere if that's not the character you created?
Money.
So speaking of,
I knew they were gonna screw her up. Compared to the comic,
she wasn't.
Because one of the people making this show did an interview where she said Echo's powers in the comics were stupid, and she didn't want to do that.
They screwed her up in Endgame.
Did she literally say stupid?
I'm pretty sure she said stupid. I could look it up.
Wait, what was Echo in Endgame?
Well, Ronan was. And it wasn't Echo.
What?
Ronan was.
Ronan. Oh, I thought you were talking about the accuser.
And it wasn't Maya Lopez under that mask. You know?
Yeah.
She could have been, you know, honestly. And here's the thing: I'm gonna tell these motherfuckers at Disney Plus and MCU, you want to do something good with a character like this? I'm gonna tell you how to do it right now. Just do whatever the fuck show her exploits in the past. Fucking her adventures through the past. What you got? The Infinity Saga. What she was doing around ancillary to all that, and then boom, bring her into the next phase. Have all these new people you wanted to show what they were doing then. You know, like don't give me. You know, don't try to make it now. Show me then. Because they've been around that whole time. They're watching the Hulk and Chitauri come. What the fuck did they do then? You know? Like, literally, like, you can give me a glimpse of the shit happen. Oh, these superpowered people are getting registered. And she's like, shit. And with her glowing hand, Larry, you haven't seen the glowing hand yet, but and she's like, shit, I got to register now? Fuck. You know, like, just show me, you know, how she handled that. That's a lot more interesting than watching a bunch of, you know, I don't need MCU to give me a history and anthropology lesson about the Choctaw natives, which again, she's Cheyenne. In the comics, she's Cheyenne, not Choctaw. They're not interchangeable.
The series director and executive producer said her power in the comic books is that she can copy anything, any movement, any whatever. It's kind of lame. I will say this is not her power. I'll just kind of leave it at that. So not stupid, but lame, which is same.
Yeah, that bitch is lame.
What's that person's name?
Sydney
Freeland. Sydney Freeland. She's the series director and executive producer.
Sydney Freeland.
Mm-hmm.
That's the messed up part, though. I think she did read them.
And she didn't like it. Like, how the fuck?
I could do better.
Marvel and Disney get people that hate comics to make their shit, and that's why we're getting this shit now. You know,
I will say that.
That's why Secret Invasion was the way it did, dude. They could have put a scene in her where she killed Elektra as Ronin, just for fun. It's like this is what she did during the Secret Invasion. You know, they don't have to go nowhere.
Yeah.
Are we set up for calls?
We should.
We should be. Yeah, like this Fantastic Forum.
Derek says y'all want to call in, but FF isn't on StreamYard, and we are streaming.
The button
Yeah,
might
how are
be
you watching this? Oh, I watched him call. I did.
on Twitch. If you go to FF Live and hit the calling button,
hit the calling button.
It's very that you should be able to come in. And you know what? Don't call in because I know what you're gonna say. Like, oh, you guys fucking hate it because it's not like the comics. It could be different. Fuck you. This is a difference.
I think it would be. I think she would be a lot more interesting to watch if you can see when she fights somebody different, like her fighting style changes to kind of match.
But here's the issue with the power set Echo has in what is probably the current MCU. What is that Echo at her best is playing off of other characters because, like you said, like she can see some stuff and then just do it, and it's like, yeah, like that's not that, you know, for somebody to be like, oh well, that's not as interesting as a power. Like, well, it depends on who she's looking at, right? You know, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying like she
it was awesome in Heroes.
That's true too, but Heroes is a little different though because it's like Echo can't mess around and like say look at Doctor Strange and then like open up a portal. But she can't do that.
Yeah, but it's still supposed to be street level hero stuff, not
right. And MCU right now, street level heroes isn't what MCU has really, you know, and so you don't get
they can't rely
out of Echo, right? But it's like just even the Daredevil scene that we saw in episode 1 was a cool scene in and of itself, and just showing like, okay, her being able to like, you know, at least hold her own, right? But it's like, how cool would it be if you had basically her doing what Daredevil is doing, you know, like mimicking or mirroring his moves, you know what I'm saying? Like that would have been a very cool moment that they just chose not to do. Caller, Derek H., you are the 5th member of Fantastic Forum, my friend. Tell the people where you're calling from and what you think of Echo.
Hello, everybody. I am Derek H. I'm calling from NoHo with the Boho. I haven't given a nickname yet. I was called in because I saw Echo last night. I saw all 5 episodes. I'm not gonna lie. I saw 4 episodes, and I went to sleep. And then I woke up and I watched last episode, and I think I missed something because I didn't know what was going on. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I saw that it was trying something new, and I was kind of upset because by episode 3, I was like, I see what I need to do, but what I need to do is make this longer because I want more. I want like at least 12 episodes or something. I feel like I was shortchanged by this show. I feel like I didn't know her powers until literally the last like 10 minutes of the last episode. I was like, oh, that's what she could do. She hasn't done that before, but okay. I like Kingpin, but again, the last episode kind of messed him up. I was like, did they just ruin Kingpin for everybody else? Because all of a sudden I think now he's supposed to be a different person. I liked it, but there are parts of it that I think could have been, like Mo said, I think could have been done better. I think if they want to make her a street level vigilante, they need to make her a street level vigilante, and instead of this reluctant Bruce Banner they kind of like set her up like she would. Her show would be, if she had a show, it would be her walking through towns, righting wrongs and that sort of thing.
She's supposed to be a villain in this series.
Yeah,
they said she's supposed to be a villain. She's not supposed to be good.
Everybody, when she showed up, like everybody was like, "Oh, Maya's back. She's gonna mess stuff up." I was like, "What? Wait, when she left, she was like 6 years old. Was she an evil little kid or something? Why?
I think her reputation has preceded her though for what she did to Kingpin.
But they did show her as, I thought they show her as she had like serial killer in her when she killed that bird. But then I was like, oh, she's like a little Jeffrey Dahmer then or something. She's going around killing animals. That's how it starts. When you kill animals, that's how you start being a serial killer. I thought that's what she was going to be. But then they showed that her mom was a mutant. I don't know, a spoiler for everybody. None of y'all saw it. I don't know why none of y'all watch this stuff. Supposed to be your go-to stuff.
It hasn't even been a full day.
When I was watching this, I was like, I know they're not going to watch it. I'm gonna call in tomorrow, and somebody's gonna say something like, "I only saw half of the first episode. I turned it off out of 10 minutes." Or something. I don't know why y'all can't watch it.
If they hadn't put it out at 8 p.m.
Oh, that's too late for you now. All of a sudden, 8 p.m. and we're all 65 years old or something.
It's been out for less than 24 hours.
I go to bed at 6:30. Like except for Wednesdays.
Jay,
like I'm in bed when it came out.
I'm not even gonna respond to that. I'm done with Jay. I'm done with you. I don't understand how your life works anymore. You can't touch paper. You can't watch TV. You can't stay up past 7 o'clock. No, I can't live like that. I can't live following your life.
But Derek, it sounds to me like you definitely have a bit of a mixed reaction to it. Like some aspects of it you liked and some aspects of it you didn't.
Yes, exactly. Mixed that's what it was. The first episode I thought was great. I liked the fight scene where she walked in and she didn't know what was going on, and all of a sudden she just clicked in. I was like, oh, this is good. I like this. And Daredevil showed up. I was like, oh, and then she stood her own with Daredevil, and she even got props for that. Kingpin gave her props. And look, nobody ever stood up to him. Nobody ever went toe to toe like that. That's kind of cool. And I was like, yeah, that is kind of cool. And we don't see that again for like 4 episodes. That's unfortunate. There's so many opportunities for her to beat the crap out of people, and she didn't. When she went to blow up the train, there were like 5 people on the train. She didn't touch a single one of them. I was like, what? How are you not beating people up, Maya? You're supposed to be this badass. You ain't beating people up, and she's not. And I didn't understand why they're saving her for something. And then they slowly showed me like the Choctaw Pass, which I loved. I love seeing like history of the Choctaw people, because personally, I've always I'll say this. I always thought the Native American people should have risen up long ago and like tried retaken a couple of these states that should be theirs. I do not understand why that hasn't happened yet. Like why?
It's illegal.
And
and they sterilized them.
Says the thief comes into your house, takes your stuff, you try to get it back, and they're like, oh, it's illegal. You can't have it back. It's illegal to take it back. Like, screw you.
Then you'd have all these Gen Z people saying pro-Palestine, like, you know.
Yeah,
I think they respect the law more than you do.
I'm all for the pro. I know a bunch of pro-Palestine people, and I love them dearly, and I understand where they're coming from. But it's the don't start none. If you don't want none, don't start none. And Palestine shot a missile first, and now they found out what happened. They don't like it. I'm sorry. Like that's I don't want to get into it, but look,
yeah, please don't.
Yeah, the Russia did.
Yeah, so Echo.
I know, right? Exactly.
About Echo, I wanted there to be more stuff. I wanted to be more Echo stuff because, like I said, I had no idea what her powers were until the end when she started morphing into her previous selves, I guess.
Wait, she actually physically changes?
Let me ask you this. Wait, well, listen. I don't want to get too far into spoilers because again, the joint hasn't been out for even a full day, right? Or maybe
fuck that.
But what I will say is this, or let me ask this question, because I know watching the first episode with them, kind of beginning to hint at some of the, mystical kind of, Native American type stuff. It's like
I don't like that. I don't like the whole mystical part. I don't like the mystical Native American because she doesn't need to be like the magic Negro. I don't need that for every time I see an Indian person. I got to think, they have magical powers. I don't think that.
I didn't realize she was Vixen.
Well, Vixen is different. But it reminded me a little bit of the What If, and I don't know if anybody else saw that episode of What If.
I saw. Wait, the show or
I talked about how I didn't like it. Yeah.
Oh no. Wait. What If was on Disney Plus, and Joe can't watch What If. He can't watch stuff on internet streaming sites. That's crazy talk. You think people on Fantastic Forum have seen stuff on Disney Plus? Craziness. Why would you even think that?
I mean, we have Disney Plus.
No, you don't
watch it.
I don't believe you.
Not me specifically,
but
I'm just show.
We actually.
I'm just trying to figure out, was there any connection between those two things? Because that was what it almost felt like it was invoking that a little bit.
Real quick, fuck Disney Plus. I don't like what they're doing.
Oh, this is political.
What are they
doing? I'm sorry.
Wait, I'm just like, are we just gonna leave it at that, Jay? You're not even gonna expound on what it is that they're doing that you don't like, or are we just gonna guess?
Okay, they're integrating Hulu and other stuff into it, but whenever you watch the Hulu shit, it's got commercials. And it's I didn't pay for to watch commercials.
I think if you pay more, they take them away.
Yeah, that's what Hulu's always been.
Yeah, but fuck that.
But that was when Hulu was on Hulu. Now that Hulu's on
keep
Disney
it the same.
Plus, now that Hulu was on Disney Plus, it should go by Disney Plus rules.
But I remember when I used to go to the movies and not worry about commercials.
That doesn't make sense.
Tiger Claw says this is the first Disney Plus show that had an M rating, but aren't all of the Netflix shows?
It didn't need it.
Plus?
They don't count because
but it's not made by
Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Yeah, that really wasn't an M rating.
And realistically, Echo, from what I've seen in Echo, from what I saw in Echo, it doesn't need that rating. There's nothing in it that an 8-year-old can't see.
Again, Moses is right. There's literally nothing in this that is a. First of all, it's only 5 episodes. They didn't have time to put anything in it, and
they did.
They
chose not to.
What? They had an option too, and I was looking for it. I wanted her to start sticking knives in people and stuff, or cracking some heads, and it never happened. Never happened.
When that knife pops out of the boot, I'm thinking, okay, so that's going to go in someone's neck at some point. No,
realistically, the things they wouldn't want an 8-year-old to see is the anthropology stuff that they added, which they could have just not added, because in those Oklahoma states, they just burned the books that tell you that, right? So that's they could have done without that. Here, left it the comic, it could have been E for everyone. Yeah,
y'all are way too politically charged for me. Fantastic Forum. I'm like, man, y'all a bunch of radicals on every different level.
It seemed like it was kind of whitewashed for Florida, though. It was kind of like, hey, look, the Indian people are These spiritual Indians, they don't know nothing. I started to see gangs and stuff. The first 2 episodes should have been her in Indian Town, and then she should have went back to New York and started beating up people in New York for the final 3 episodes. That's what I wanted to see. Then they could have had Daredevil show back up. They could have had Spider-Man show up. They could have had all the other ground level people that they want to bring in show up, but they didn't. The whole series. Spoiler alert: this whole series is in Oklahoma. This is the first MCU Oklahoma show. MC Oklahoma.
What do you have against Oklahoma?
Realistically, this show is just a sequel. It's a sequel.
They grow corn.
It's a sequel to Reservation Dogs.
And everybody was in it. Everybody from Reservation. If you're in Reservation Dogs, the day they canceled that show, all of them walked right over to Disney Plus and said, "Hey, I'm Indian. Please give me a show." And literally all of them are in here.
All 6?
Everyone. Yeah.
You said it like it's like a whole bunch of
the people who play the adult. Like I've only watched 1.5 episodes, and there's like 12 people from that show.
Yeah, but that's literally a dozen. That might be the entire that's everyone that they decided to put on as far as Native American actors go. It's not, and there's plenty of more out there. I know, but I'm just saying, the ones they want to hire.
I don't know about all that.
They shot this show congruently, and they worked overtime.
Yeah. So Jay, what do you think, man? What are your thoughts on it?
The small portion you could see between 6:30 and 7 o'clock before you had to go to bed.
Yeah, I came into this really blind. Like, I actually haven't been watching any of the current Disney Plus stuff. So, like, I didn't see Hawkeye or...
Hawkeye was a year ago.
Right. I didn't see it.
Okay. No time to catch up. They didn't give you any time to catch up. Okay.
No, I had time. I just doing other shit.
He didn't need to. They showed everything he needed to see. They showed him here, so he didn't need to.
Right, and that's what I was gonna say. It does this kind of fast forwardy thing, and I realized it was like a previously on, because if you don't realize that, the pacing is really weird.
Yeah.
But once I realized that, I was like, oh, okay, this isn't bad. Like, I like it. I like the fight. I wish they had showed her actually shooting Kingpin. Like, that would have helped. And the mystical stuff, I didn't really like.
I think they do. Like, they go back to that scene.
Yeah, they showed the gun going off. Yeah.
I don't think like they show his head like going back or anything, but
yeah, that's what I want.
They revisit that scene.
No. But that's what Jay wants going back.
Yeah, that's what Jay wants.
Jay wants that Mortal Kombat slow motion where you see like the inside of his head.
Right. Yeah. Jay wants the camera to follow the bullet.
Right. And new.
Yeah, that's what I was like. I don't understand. Like, it's weird, okay? They've got these ancient naked spirits with like they don't have any detail, but they're shot as if they do, and it's really weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like
they're just covered in clay.
Yeah,
they jiggle. They're just covered in clay,
and then as soon as the clay falls off, they're fully clothed.
Yeah,
I wonder why they chose to shoot it like that. It just is odd to me.
The great creator decided to give them very thin white garments for some reason.
Like, I know it's rated M, but like, you're still not going to get a lot of stuff. Like, And that's why I wonder why they did it in the first place. It's like no one's expecting nudity from a Disney Plus show.
I was.
Like, okay, one random weirdo is expecting nudity from a Disney Plus show.
I'm expecting nudity from a TVMA show. Thank you very much.
You don't even need to like actually show anything to let us know that they're still naked. Like there's ways to shoot it where you don't have to show anything.
Yeah,
I didn't see a butt.
Yeah, I don't know. That was, yeah, it is what it is. Like they could have just been close.
So Jay, going in, coming in blind, and you know, you're familiar with the hero already from the comics, right?
No,
you're familiar with the hero with Echo from the comics.
No, I've never heard of.
So, what was your enjoyment level like coming in blind?
I liked it. Like, I got into it. I feel like, yeah, for not knowing about the character and what she's supposed to be, just knowing that she's a bad guy, coming in blind, I thought it was pretty good. Like, she's a pretty good fighter. I think they do a good job of showing that she can fight. And I was impressed she managed to go toe-to-toe with Daredevil. And it's interesting.
How'd
they
you
go
like that
back
sling
to
kick?
her-
She sling back her prosthetic leg and then whack with it.
Anything with prosthetic legs is pretty good. Like
that was awesome when she held that cake for a second and then flapped down. That was awesome.
Yeah,
I said that was awesome.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
And that's
But
what I was trying to tell Oz earlier when they were
going in,
fucking.
I
They
enjoyed
fucked up
it.
the scene according to Oz. It built up to that.
Yeah, going in, I enjoyed it. I liked it.
They built up to that. That was like at the first half of the fight.
All the gang fights Oz has been in, he knows exactly how they go, how they should go.
No,
They
the
had
shit
way
you
more
did
gang
it.
fights than you.
Yeah.
I've never been in a
Look.
gang fight.
We know, Joe. We know. It's okay.
They happened too late.
So does anybody have anything else they want to say about Echo on Disney Plus before we give it a rate?
Should have been 3 more episodes at least.
Fair. All right, shoot, let's do it then. So, Derek H, what would you rate Echo out of 5?
Out of 5, I give it a 4.5 out of 5. I like the history lesson that I was given. I like the fact that it was more that it didn't have any. You know, he wanted to bring some Stark in somewhere, but thankfully he's still dead. They brought in a big bad that I think they're probably going to use over every. I didn't like that they spent some time. Oh, you guys didn't see the last.
Yeah. Don't spoil it.
They spent time setting up like Kingpin as the next big bad for everybody. I want to see who else they bring in as who I guess the new Defenders, who's gonna have to fight Kingpin. I liked all that. I didn't like the fact that it seemed like they cut out a lot between episodes. When you guys finally see episodes 4 and 5, you will see that a lot of stuff happen, I guess, between 4 and 5 that they don't tell you about. You just have to, I guess, accept. But overall, it was a good show. I might go back and watch it again, kind of like I might go back and watch Hawkeye again. I wish they would have spent more money, but look, it's Native American, so they didn't want to spend more than like I guess $5,000 on the whole show, so they cut a lot down. You can tell they cut a lot down. You can tell this was a quote indigenous show where the people that were involved loved it, but they had to fight for everything they got, and they didn't get a whole lot. But what they did get, they used a lot of work with. They worked with. Also, I could have sworn that Alaqua Cox, Echo Maya. The whole time I kept thinking that she was the girl from what, Precinct 99? That show? What's that show? I don't know.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
Yeah, Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
I thought that was her the entire
I thought it was Rosa.
You thought she was Chelsea Handler?
Did she cut off her leg to do this? Like, what is going? Like, she ain't doing this show, is she? But no, it's just a whole different actress that looks exactly like Rosa from Brooklyn Nine-Nine with one leg.
I've never seen. I don't know.
Of course,
that might be the. They don't look the same. Yeah.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine is weird because everyone in Brooklyn Nine-Nine is hilarious, and the show is just the opposite of that. Like, I don't understand.
It's not funny, you don't think?
Not at all. Like,
it's hilarious.
Yeah, I like it too.
Rosa doesn't look like. Yeah. They don't look alike at all.
And
there may be the
Chelsea Handler isn't in.
Oh, okay.
But they got different molds on
so
this.
Derek,
because you're like Chelsea Handler, and it's like Chelsea Peretti.
Right, Peretti. Sorry, it's been a while since I watched World's Dumbest.
Oh, Peretti, yeah, I get it. Okay, Oz, what would you rate Echo?
2. It's not good.
2 out of 5.
It's half-assed, and it's up to episode 3 anyway. It's just really slow.
Okay. Jay, what would you rate?
I'm gonna give it a 3. I think the director's a bitch.
He was gonna say 4 till I told him about the director.
Dude, come on! Like, her powers are awesome.
I like them too.
And it's like,
and could you imagine
they're really like shitting on the comics, like
versus Batroc the Leaper?
Comics.
Like, that would be
Say
awesome.
What?
Her versus Batroc the Leaper.
Batroc the Leaper would be cool, especially if they bring back George St. Pierre.
Yeah, that would have been an awesome fight. Like her copying all of Batroc's moves.
Yeah. Moses, what would you rate Echo?
I would give it a 2.5 from what I saw. It really, like, you know, I don't want to be the dude that's like, oh, it's not like the comics, but it's like, this is really not like the comics. And it's not, it's really like the director really, like I said, like really went out of their way to make it like not like the comics. And it's like, and it, yeah, again, I gave him the formula to make it good, you know, and not like the comics, you know, make it fit into the cinematic universe and still be good. But no, in the mystical native thing, I don't like it has its place, you know. If you want to see a good ass kicking Native American, watch Dark Winds.
Okay. I'm gonna give it based on what I saw. I'm gonna give
Larry
it a 4.
doesn't know.
Say what?
Oh boy. Of course.
Listen, I'm just saying. Look, I don't get me wrong. I hear what everybody's saying, and when I watch it, I'm sure my opinion will change. But until I watch it, I'm gonna just go on what I saw, which I liked. I liked it. So episode 1, I'll give it a 4. So Hex says, I don't want to be the dude who's like, it's not like the comics. Bruh, you're the dude. You're that dude every time. Left my ass off. Hex not wrong.
That's not true. I just talked about Blue Beetle. That's not like the comics.
Well, I mean, he doesn't want to be,
and I loved it.
I mean,
but when they do it like this, I have to be. Like, that's the thing.
Blue Beetle's definitely closer to the comics than Echo.
Speaking of comics,
if I wanted it to be like the comics, I'd be pissed at that family being there. Yeah. Larry,
she's a mutant. Well, now we know that she's a mutant, though. That her powers are mutant based.
Wait. See, Derek, you're doing.
I knew that when I saw the X over, because when they showed the X over, so's Kingpin. Kingpin's a mutant too,
Has to be.
because they put an X over his eye. They put an X over his eye, meaning that Krakoa is gonna heal him up, so he could be at the Hellfire Gala wearing that dress.
Dude, like you're talking about his outfit at the last Hellfire Gala.
Yeah, like because in the show when they were healing him, they put an X over his eye, like as a
Yeah, no,
bandage.
here. Yeah.
So it's like, oh yeah, that's because of the X-Men. He's a mutant. They're gonna heal him in Krakoa. But they're not gonna do that because the show fucking sucks, and they don't follow the comics.
That's why. That's
This
why
show
it's not going to happen that way.
For the new Daredevil, but the new Daredevil was canceled, so I don't know what it was a prequel to.
It wasn't canceled. It was just delayed, right?
Well, they're reshooting it. Like they have to redo the whole
but that's
thing.
not the same as canceling, right? That's redoing. Like it was canceled, you wouldn't reshoot anything.
I mean, they shot like what 5 or 6 episodes that we're never gonna see.
Yeah, I would like to see those.
That's the
Sounds
whole,
like they got
technically,
canceled.
that's a whole season. That's a whole season if you're talking about Echo.
That's the whole season of Echo. Right.
Yeah.
All right.
I hope those episodes are just as bad.
Let's,
it's kind of sad when you realize that they're big, giant set piece. You know, like all these Marvel shows have a big, giant set piece that they spend all their money on to show off everything. Their big, giant set piece was inside of a skating rink. That shows you how much money they spent on this show.
Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and transition to our next review. Let's talk about.
All right. Thank you, Derek.
Derek, you want to stick around and talk about Duke, or you?
No, thank you.
I'm going to leave because I don't touch paper comics, so I wouldn't know about anything else. I'm against anything paper.
Thanks.
Damn, I hung up on them too fast. Sorry. Sorry, Derek.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's go ahead and talk about Duke. Do we have review music? We should, right?
I think Mo might have it.
Okay. If not,
I don't have it anymore.
That's
Oz
okay.
has
Look,
it.
What do I have?
Who wants
No, I got like what do I have? Comic book news? No.
Yeah, not good news, but comic book reviews. Or...
Review.
Like
Review.
Well, not like that, but like.
I love it. I love it indeed. Okay. Who wants to tell the people about Duke?
I can do it.
Okay, go for it. Well, actually, Mo, no, you can't because you need to tell them about distillery. So it's okay. I'll do it. I'll do it. And so Duke, Duke #1 is if I'm not mistaken, the first G.I. Joe entry into or from Skybound, and it is included in their Energon universe, which is basically the Hasbro licensed offerings, along with Void Rivals and all those books happening basically in the same continuity. I believe it was in one of the last issues of Transformers. Duke made a cameo, or maybe it was issue. I don't remember if it was issue 2 or 3, but Duke made a cameo. Okay, thank you. It's issue 2, and the events of that appearance in issue 2, where Duke, for all intents and purposes, fought Starscream which as crazy as that sounds, but Duke fought Starscream, and the events of that encounter have left Duke shaking. And this book picks up after those events, and basically has Duke in a place where he's thought of as a crackpot, and people are trying to convince him he didn't see what he saw, even though he's like, I saw a plane turn into a robot and killed my friend. Which, it does sound crazy, but it happened.
And watching it from two perspectives now, it's even crazier. Like it just adds like something about this universe being shared just adds to. Sorry, I had to chime in with that.
Please do.
Yeah.
No, and honestly, it's like, and I know that we didn't. I don't think wait, did we talk about? I don't remember if we actually.
did.
I think we did review issue 1.
Jay talked about the splat scene.
The splat, right?
He talked about it and how it looked good, and I remember reading it and I thought it looked good too, but it it just looked like what it looked like. I was more concerned that the other fighter pilot that was jettisoning off, and it said Duke on his thing, and I was like, oh yeah. But then so seeing that scene while reading that issue was one thing, and then reading it in Duke, seeing that scene again in Duke was like, and it's like it's the same scene. You could tell it's the same exact scene. It's just a different perspective. And
right.
That's good.
But also too, I think the thing that made it awesome too was that it just felt very much like a Starscream kind of thing to do. Like we've never seen Starscream really do anything like that, because Starscream, we haven't had the arena where a person like Starscream could be like the most vicious version of himself. Because talking about Starscream within the confines of an 80s cartoon, or you're talking about Starscream within the confines of whether in like other animated shows, like more recent, and even other comics that are just like
Michael Bay
more. Yeah, you're right. Like even in Michael Bay, it's like don't get me wrong. Like the robots are more aggressive and violent, but they're more so
they
only
just
to
piss
each
on
other.
people. Yeah.
They're more aggressive and violent to each other, but we've never seen a Starscream just look at a human and just decide to like splat them like a bug. But it feels very much like how Starscream would treat people if he could, and so that's I think and how that would affect somebody like Duke. Like it feels very, again, this is like the whole thing where it's like you don't think about a G.I. Joe having PTSD.
Yeah.
You don't think about a G.I. Joe being traumatized by something that a battle that they've been in. But that's the reality of how things go sometimes, and that's kind of like what this Energon universe is kind of bringing to the table. It feels like, where it's like it's kind of grounding all of these concepts while allowing them to be fantastic still, because it's not like when Duke jettisoned from that plane, it's not like he just was in a parachute to get splatted too. This immediately went into a jetpack because this was G.I. Joe. And it's like, but the other side of that is like, okay, but when this will land, he's gonna be like, damn, my friend. And it's like, and when nobody else is gonna acknowledge his friend actually just got squished, it's gonna mess him up, because he's gonna be like, what the hell? Like, what, you're always supposed to be for me. Yeah, and so it's an interesting book, because it's like it puts a whole different spin on the whole idea of what it means to like be an American hero. The end.
5 out of 5.
Oz, you get a chance to read this joint, dude?
No, it wasn't in that packet you sent.
Man,
Oh,
you should definitely. You should definitely, when you get a chance, take a look at it, because I think you would like this. Honestly, like it's, yeah. I don't know, but Jay, what did you think?
Dude, I thought it was excellent. Like, it was just awesome. See, like, I know when they said a Duke living in a Transformers world, this is not the direction I thought they were going to go in, but it's a very cool direction, and I want to keep following them through it. Yeah, it's great. Like, I don't know what to say about it. It's yeah, it's just very cool seeing him. And you know, it takes place like a few months after what we've already read. So we're not sure what happens between with, you know, apparently they just stay in disguise enough that they're not well known. But then you've got
very few people
Duke like stumbling upon Destro and his company, like as Cobra is actually coming up. And yeah, just seeing him running around, seeing all this stuff happening is very cool. Like, it's one of those things where you just want to see everything put together. Like, each piece they give you entices me to want to see the next piece.
Right. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. What about you, Mo? What are your thoughts on Duke, bro?
Duke, for me right now at the stage we're in, the Energon universe, as much as I've read Void Rivals like 1 and 2, I haven't read 3, and I think they're on 5 already.
6.
At this point, six came out today, I think. Yeah, or last month. But it makes me want to catch up on that. But so far from what I've read out of all this Energon universe stuff, Duke is my favorite one. And I never thought I like, you know, like as much like Daniel Warren's Transformers, like I love that. But I felt like this first issue compared to the first issue of Void Rivals and the first issue of Transformers, I felt like this one gave me more. And it's like, man, like this series is gonna give me more. Like, and the story itself is like, because it has that little bit like a, you know, like the Jason Bourne quality with Duke, you know, like so like the G.I. Joe, like Jason Bourne story type with like the X-Files shit on it, and even like how Joe said, like it's like you don't know what they've been doing, like they've been in disguise, but then you have the little like conspiracy theories. I saw a pickup truck just turned into a robot in the freeway, you know, like so there's people that have seen, and they just look at them as like ridiculous people, like crazy people, you know, and he's like hanging out with them and just to try to get information. And but at the core of this is how they're handling Energon as an energy source. That's really tying everything together. I think it's real. That to me, that's the real interesting part because it's like, you know, the cartoons are searching for Energon and Beast Wars are searching for Energon. It's like, you know, we've had this. Like, why haven't people tried to, you know, monetize on it and try to, you know? And I think that's where this is going, and which is adding another interesting layer to it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I would agree. I would agree. And I think that, you know, that like honestly, I feel like this entire thing, it is doing a good job of just balancing the fantastic with, you know, like the more like or grounding fantastic, you know, like, you know, because it's just like, yeah, it's not like the elements. It doesn't feel less G.I. Joe to me. You know, in the same way Transformers doesn't feel less Transformers to me or anything like that. It's just, you know, taking its time and really kind of like, I guess it feels like it's really putting these concepts into our real world and like taking the next natural step. It's like, okay, if giant robots did exist, what would that really be like in the world that we live in today? You know, if you know, a friggin' elite soldier did come across one of those giant robots, what would be how would that affect him, you know? And yeah, like I think you're right. Mo. Like the Energon concept is actually really interesting too, because it does feel like, it can tie everything together if they need to. Like I'm sure at some point there's gonna be a crossover.
They're gonna. It's called the Energon universe, and like
Right.
I feel in this Duke, they really fleshed out what Energon means to this saga here. Like this is where it's like it's an untapped resource from the beginning of the Big Bang. And they're essentially making it a infinity gem, but it's just one, and yeah, and they're gonna try to use it. Like different people are gonna try to use it for different things across the galaxy. As we've seen in Boy Rivals and now in Duke.
Right.
So it's gonna be an interesting, we're probably gonna get a crossover at one point, and it's gonna be real interesting. And I need Spider-Man in it.
And it's wild because I know that something that we always talk about is a mark of a good issue number one is if it draws you in to read the next issue. And I know for myself, I was like, not only did Duke make me be like, man, I can't wait to read Duke number 2, but it made me like even more excited, which I was already excited for freaking Cobra Commander number 1, which I was like, dude, this was Duke number 1, because I'm just like, I don't even like, don't get me wrong, like Duke is fine. It's like, I don't think that like I don't have any ill will against Duke or anything like that, but when I think about G.I. Joe and the most interesting parts of G.I. Joe, Duke isn't what comes to mind. Like Duke is like the generic, like you look at a rock, like if you had G.I. Joes lined up in a row, you'd be like, of course that guy's the leader, because 80s and the way the world works, it's like, yeah, that guy's in charge. Sure. Like you pick him out of a lineup.
Like he's the blonde hair, blue eyed,
exactly right. Yeah, and so but he's very like, or at least in the past, Duke has been very milquetoast. Like he's like generic by design, right? And so even Flint gets a hat. You know what I'm saying? Duke don't even get a hat. Duke is just like, nah, man, I'm just blonde. So for me to read this book and just be like, damn, like I give a damn about Duke and I want to know what go on this journey with him. So I'm just like, I know, but Cobra Commander, I'm like, dude, I've always thought Cobra Commander was like a super interesting character that only gets somewhat utilized to to the degree that it could be. And don't get me wrong, different comics have done some cool stuff with them, so I don't want to like knock any of the past iterations of G.I. Joe that have done some cool, or not acknowledge that, because they have. Cartoon tried, like, touched on it a little bit, but they don't necessarily ever rise to the occasion. But just based on what I've read from all of these Energon offerings, I'm like, this Cobra Commander series is probably going to be like some next level stuff, and I can't wait to read it. Anyway, Derek H says Duke was banging Scarlet till he got cuffed by Snake. I mean, listen, I don't know what to tell you. It's like I think, right, exactly. Like I think all of us should be happy if we were getting cuffed by Snake Eyes.
Well, in that I forget what the series is subtitled, but the little 5-minute joints that come together.
Yeah.
She ends up going with the Duke.
Oh,
yeah.
Is that like retaliation or something like that?
Something like that. Yeah. Like she ends up choosing Duke. He gives her an ultimatum.
Duke's like, he ain't gonna treat me like this, Scarlet. Him or me.
He's like, he basically says either you can go with him or you could go with me. And she's like, well, don't you mean go with the group, right? And she's like, and Duke is like, I said what I said.
He's like, well, he said it with his chest. Here it is. Okay. Cool. So okay. So with that said, man, I don't look. Anybody got anything else they want to say about Duke #1 before we do some ratings? Okay, there it is.
Joshua Williams,
Oh, go ahead.
Joshua Williamson wants to tell us what he thinks of our review of it.
No, man. These guys are cool. Fantasy Forum is good. I like them. I'm Josh Williamson, and I approve this message.
There it is. I believe it. I believe it. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So, Mo, what would you rate Duke #1?
So long.
I know.
It's a 5 out of 5. 5 out of 5 for
There
me.
it
Like
is.
that, I'm like I'm thinking of getting a pull list for it because like I don't want to miss the next issue. I don't want to miss. I definitely don't want to miss Cobra Commander from this one. And then my fucking brother, I gave him 3 issues of Void Rivals and the first 2 issues of Transformers for Christmas, and he still hasn't said shit to me. A piece of shit.
Damn.
So yeah, I don't know if he read them. I assume he hasn't read them, but because if he's read them, he'd be like, "Dude, Energon Universe N-word," like. but and now I'm like, dude, like you gotta read Duke. Like you gotta as much as you like that, you gotta read Duke now, And he hasn't. And I just gave it to him. I sent it to him. I sent it off, and I'm like, all right. I'm just waiting for him to read it because I know once he reads it, he's gonna hit me up, And then I got to tell him, you gotta read Duke, And
yeah,
I gotta put 2 copies of that in my pull list now because I know I gotta give that motherfucker a copy. Yeah. I'll just save him all up for his birthday.
I would give it a 4 out of 5.
There it is.
What would put it to the 5 for you, Jay?
I think I would have went with a little different art, but
okay.
Right now, I'm really mad that I didn't get the cover that I pulled up earlier for the show.
Yeah, me too.
Like, I
You
didn't
can
get
start screen.
that. Yeah. So I'm mad about that. Like, I don't see why they couldn't just put all the covers on the inside. Like, why they gotta be, especially if you're buying it digitally, where it's not like I can choose what digital cover I want.
Right.
Yeah. Like you're gonna be mad when you didn't read Devil's.
You're gonna have to touch paper, Jay. I'm sorry.
Yeah. They got all the covers in the digital version.
Yeah, I'm gonna give Duke a 5 out of 5, man. I just like it's phenomenal. Like I was blown away. I was blown away. Oz, what would you rate the review?
I'm not gonna read it. I'm good.
So is that a 1 or a 5?
I guess I'll go 3, like somewhere in the middle.
All right. Like you're not gonna read it, but not because of our review. You weren't gonna read it.
Yeah. I'm not gonna read it, but you guys make it sound almost interesting.
He's not gonna read it, but he's like excited for what is it like? What's the Superman Action Comics that just came out? Action Comics like 1071 or something.
I'm not reading that thing either.
Oh,
I bought it.
Suicide Squad kills the Justice League.
No, but you know what? What's good is the Gargoyle of Gotham. The Black Label book. That it's got some amazing art. Yeah.
Okay. There it is. All right. Let's talk about some Devil's Cut. So tell us about the Devil's Cut, Moses.
Well, at this point, it's I gotta fill you in to the drama that is this
drama. Okay.
It's a company that started with a bunch of really talented people, and they're part owners, they're founding members, almost like an Image. And I've been trying to get their books and stuff, and it's been a hassle. And I finally got it. And this book is basically, I guess, like the issue zeros of every book that's going to be coming out in the next year. So you get a little bit from each creative team. And I think it's something like 10 stories in it. And
I feel like it might be more than that. Could be wrong.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a really thick book, but I don't remember how many there are because I had to read them over a couple days. It's not. It's just they're very. They're taking all the motif like this distillery, the name, and Devil's Cut for this, and they're taking it from the whiskey making method. You know, that's how they're doing everything. So they're doing. Hold on. Oh, God damn it. Sorry, I'm having a problem here. Okay. And yeah, that's the cover right there, and that's it seems very minimalistic, but that has a place. There's a story that fits that in there, and yeah, the Devil's Cut is basically just the starting point. So I don't know how much of these I have about 2 books gone and Somna, and I haven't read them yet. Um, so that creative team, those 2 respective creative teams have segments in here, and the Somna one I believe is that like it's basically the first few pages of that book in here. I don't know if they all follow that. So, but you're definitely like one of the creators that's in there is like a dude that's a toy maker. So, like one of the segments is like into his making of the toy, you know. So that toy I think is coming out. I think next month, or if it might have come out this month, you know. And it's like a limited, like a lot of the stuff they're doing is limited. They're definitely a boutique company, comic book company, and I don't really like that in the sense that they make it hard to get. Like comics are hard to get as it is because there's less shops around. So I don't want to have to get it through eBay. I rather get it direct from them, and they're not making it easy. Like they're only directly from them. You're only getting the more like incentive covers that cost more, you know. And so I might have to my one local comic shop that exists still, I might have to go with my hat in my hand and yeah, hey guys, how you doing? You know? We'll see, because yeah, especially now that I got to put Duke on the pull list, so now like I'm gonna have a respectable pull list that I could put. Yeah.
So
but that's it. Like basically a preview of everything you're going to be getting in the next year and a half, and with all the respective creative teams.
There it is. So, Oz, what did you think of this approach?
So this wasn't short stories. This was all number ones.
They're like if they're not a part of each number one, they're issue zeros to the series that are going to be coming out. I'm not 100%.
That's what I kind of thought at first, and I mean, it's kind of cool when they do something like that. Like I remember Image had like First Defenses, stuff like that, and you get to see all these books. But I actually felt like the story was done when you get to that last page. What a
for each one?
Yeah. Like especially the first couple, like the first one actually says like the end or fin or whatever. I know because I was like, wait, we're starting another story, and then I would go back and like try to. That's what I thought it was, but then as I started reading it, it felt like a lot of these stories that were done. That's it.
And you know, it could be that it's just like a showing of what that creative team, but it is like, for example, like the Eduardo Rizzo, Brian Azzarello one, the Western, like that felt like a complete story. Yeah, it is what it is. But they are putting a book out. They just haven't announced what it is yet or anything. So it could be that expanded, or it could be the starting point. You know. I'm only using Somna as an example because I know what that story is, and then I saw that intro here, you know. So some of them might be like the Mark Bernardin story, the sci-fi one with the AI like security guard people, like that one felt like that's issue 0 or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. It's interesting because I definitely felt like obviously distillery, or obviously for those that don't know, distillery is definitely like which Moses mentioned is definitely like kind of in the spirit or like a modern day version of like what Image did back in the day. And in that same sense, the people that are a part of this are kind of like some of the top talent in comics right now. Like people whose names, like if you read comics, people are gonna look at those names and be like, oh my god, like all these people are, do like working with one company and all that they have stories in one book. And I know for myself, I was like, okay, super hyped just to be like, let me get my hands on this and take a look and read. But it's interesting because from a format perspective, they decide to kind of go with like, I mean, all those, well, not all the stories, but many of the stories are like 4-page stories. And it's interesting because, which, and this, it like, I'm glad you said what you said, Mo, in regards to like saying like, okay, like some of the books are like the first 4 pages of issue 1. I didn't know that because, the first story was like finished. And so I was like, okay, so I guess it's just short stories. But it's interesting because even though you were talking about some top tier talent here, it's interesting to realize like not everybody can tell a good story in 4 pages, even if you are like top tier. And that was like something where, I know like some of the, like reading some of the stories, I was just like, oh, like I'm like these 4 pages would not get me to like pick that book up, and it's wild because it's like obviously again these are names that are people I know. Like I've personally um, reading the Azzarello and Rizzo joint. Like if I didn't know who those guys were, I would not mess around and go back to that book. It just didn't do it for me. I was just like, man, I was disappointed because I was looking forward to their offering as like one of the, like it was literally one of the ones I was anticipating the most. And from what I read, I was just like, I didn't do anything for me. Um, I think one of the ones I liked the most was that, what is it called? The Endless City. That joint, I was like blown away
Yeah.
by. And that joint it was 5 pages. So I gotta put that caveat in because technically it had one extra page, but they didn't need
But
it. I
that
was
one
supposed
extra
to
page was like a
do.
splash.
I think it was pretty much a splash, or and still I was just like, no, but here, look, it was crazy because they did a thing where you have like the story is basically about a scientist in a world that has basically discovered everything. They're like, there's nothing new. Everybody like their technology, their science, everything has advanced so much that there's basically like no mysteries left in the world. And then something mysterious happens, and she's able to like kind of figure it out. And but which is like sounds very simple and base, but the way that it's delivered, both from a writing standpoint and an artistic standpoint, because there's like a point where uh her and her lover hold hands and they go and show the hand, and the chick has 6 fingers, which, well, both of them have 6 fingers. And I was kind of blown away because I was like, because she has like another opposable thumb on the other side, so so she has like and I was like, has this chick had 6 fingers this entire book? And I went back and looked. I'm like, sure enough, every page, 6 fingers. But but it was kind of like, it was pretty awesome because it felt like a moment where like not, it wasn't the
She doesn't have
handle.
6 fingers. She's got 4 fingers and 2 thumbs, so 6 digits.
Listen, if you got your thumb cut off, you wouldn't say you lost a finger.
No, I lost my thumb.
Okay. All right. But the fact is, I was just like, it was a moment that it was just kind of dual purpose. I feel because like I think for some people they knew, like some people would not have noticed that everybody in that world has 6 fingers. But also it was like a moment where it's like like they needed to hold hands in that moment because they're going and taking a big leap, and I was like, man, it blew me away. It blew me away. I was just like, dude, I don't know what this book is, but I need to read it. So it was definitely a mixed bag, which I guess but that's what this book is supposed to be. Where it's like not every book is going to be for everybody. So yeah,
I'll read you the description in the website. Like it from the description, you do get the feeling that they are whatchamacallit. They're all just short stories.
Yeah.
Let's see where it is. It says here it is. It says your introduction to Distillery featuring 11 unfiltered stories from the most fearless creators. In the aging process, the whiskey that evaporates is called the Angel's Share. But the most potent spirits are captured in the wood, the Devil's Cut. You may want to sip these spirits slowly. They pack a punch. That's all they say in the description of this book. So that to me, it's like, okay, they're one-offs. They're just the teams that are going to be doing there. But the blasphemous segment, the Mercandolfo segment, that's the book they announced. That's the story. It might be a different aspect of the story, but that's the character that is in Blasphemous, number 1.
Wow, that's wild.
So yeah, so some of them might be introductions to the world that's coming. Maybe not direct, but yeah. And like for example, the Scott Snyder one, I enjoyed the look of it, but the story itself was like, okay, this is just trying to creep me out in 4 pages, but it's not. I've read creepy in his other works in one page, like one page really like freaks me out. Yeah. Whereas
and
4
it's
pages
interesting because go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. And then this one, it's like it felt like it was too long for like the punchline or the resolution or lack of, because the lack of scary part, So it's like it's almost like a Twilight Zone episode that's not that great. Yeah.
It's interesting again because like that story I actually did like, but it's not executed well. And it's wild because it's like, especially considering like it's 4 pages again, and there's so many words on those pages where I'm just like, dude, like I mean, and don't get me wrong, it's Scott Snyder. Scott Snyder's gonna have words, but it's just like, dude, like you gotta like economize. Like at some point, like like just either make add more pages or use less words. One or the other, you pick.
And that's one of the things that tripped me out is like I like all these creators, I like a lot of their works, and when they're limited to 4 pages, it's like none of them can get creative on how to express the story other than to do caption boxes, like 4 caption boxes per panel. Like it's all narrative, it's all inner monologue, and it's like for this I'll read a novel, like in comics it's like all those caption boxes distract from the beautiful art in this case because the start, it's an abbreviated form of doing comics, and it's like, come on, what happened to the days of enough said where like there was no words, but and it's like if that would have been the challenge here, we probably would have gotten better stories or a better experience maybe, or maybe maybe they'll do the Angel's Share next year and give us a story with that's written but no text in it.
Yeah, and I think that's what I really liked about it. The story I was talking about before that I really liked was J.B. McKelvey, and J.B. McKelvey, like I feel like the execution there was like there was caption boxes still, but it was definitely like the inner monologue of the person. Yeah, and so it was like it was pretty or done like pretty perfectly. And not only that, but that it did go into like the people actually speaking as well. and so it doesn't feel like you're like, okay, you're only trapped in their head. Another one that I thought was really interesting was the What's Mine Is Hers joint, which is the with Stephanie Phillips and Joel Jones, and little short story, like a really short story with a woman that basically falls in love with a corpse, but I was like, dude, like this is like it's pretty awesome. Like it's like it did a really good job of telling a story in just the four pages. Like it had like art
too. That was like one of the first, so it set up an expectation for the rest. Yeah,
right. That not all of them met.
Yeah,
and because the art was of course beautiful, and the story. Wow, and don't get me wrong. I'm sure there's some person that was just like, I'm certain there are people or a person that hated that story. I was just like, why? But for me and my mind, just wow, like this was, it's done well and it's interesting. Yeah. So,
so what was your least favorite story?
What was my least favorite? It's a good question. It might have been the Scott Snyder. Not Scott Snyder. It might have been the Azzarello joint.
Okay.
Like, to be honest, like, the only one that I think that even comes close to that is the Stowaway one.
Yeah.
Where and that one, it wasn't like I honestly didn't hate that one. It was just that it was very anticlimactic, where it was like I thought something, because of how it was set up, I thought something interesting was going to happen, and it did. It was just getting off the ship, like, and it, like, it's not like the person got off the ship in an interesting way, or like like it didn't feel like there was any. Yeah. So, but I think it is the Azzarello Rizzo joint, which I'm just like, I would not have guessed that in a million years that would be like my pick, but I think it is.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but I think that I'm in the same boat with you. Like the Stowaway, the Snyder one, and the Azzarello one, I think were the lower hitting ones for me. These is a look at all the covers.
Yeah, and these are all based on like
or whatever. But and but the one, like my favorite one was the Becky Cloonan Tula Late one with the witch, like getting imprisoned and then broken out of prison. Like they managed to do that well in 4 or 5 pages,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What about you, Oz? Which one did you like and which one did you dislike?
I like I like and dislike the one with the ghost, because
yeah,
like that was like really interesting, and when you get to the end, I wanted to find out more, and then it just ends, and that made me mad.
Yeah, I hear you.
Because they don't like,
and that's
I want to know
like, if it's
what the hell the thing is.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
So, and like you said, some of them get you interested, and some just kind of are there.
Right. Yeah, man. Oh, that is true. That is the case. So, yeah. Okay. Well, sure. I do. Mo, by any chance, like I mean, you have 2 of the books already. Are the rest of the books like that? When are the launch dates for some of these other books? You have any idea? Like,
I think Blasphemous comes out this month, the Mirka and Dolphin one.
And is okay, got you.
And I don't know. They haven't announced what's coming out. Like they announced it like a month or 2 in advance, a little bit.
Okay.
And so I don't know yet exactly. Like there might be a schedule here, but if you go on the website, let's see. I'll go to the store, and then let's see. They have some number one. Gone.
Which one is Samna?
out. Number one's out. Samna is the Becky Cloonan Tula Latte one.
Gotcha.
It's like a erotic folk horror. And let's see here. You see, this is new release. Oh, apparently yeah. Like they don't really like, and that this is part of what they do. They're doing the releases as like drops. So like the next one to come out is Samna 2, and it's 13 days, 12 hours. Gone number 27 days. So they're dropping them like if they're, like NFT or something,
like products.
and like
like shoes.
So, yes, and I'm like, yeah, cool, but what can if I want to buy your whole library right now, how much is that going to cost me? Just give me a fucking number and tell me what I'm getting, Like, and
Gotcha.
So they don't make it easy, and that's been my beef with them. And yeah, it just doesn't like. And they're not even telling me like what's here when, Okay, see,
kind of being a little too cool by half.
Yeah, so like right here, I click shop all on the website, and it's like, okay, I can cover M for Samna number 1, $20. Gone by Yarsky, cover number 1. The toy designed by Junko Mizuno, $100 here, and then a bunch of T-shirts, and that's it. And it's like everything else is just variants to what for what you've already got. The Blood Brothers Mother number 1. Oh, that's the Rizzo one, and that looks like it's that story we saw. It looks like that was the start of it from the cover.
Okay,
but I think let's see. I'm gonna buy it. He says physical. Doesn't give me a price. Let me see if I could buy it physical. It says find the store. Fuck you too. Buy it digital. It doesn't let me buy it digital, and that's my beef. Right. I would buy everything digital. I do have everything that I've bought. I've been able to get digital on their website, and it's $1 for their digital versions. So, which is like cheaper than Comixology or anything anywhere else. But It's like, are you gonna make it available anywhere else? Like, I want Jay to read it. Like, he can't read it because I bought it. I'm only they make it exclusive. Like, and it's like comics are supposed to be like. You're supposed to be sharing with your friends, it's like cassette tapes from back in the day, like, and you got to make it accessible. But at this point, like, if you want to do money in comics, you gotta have to make it accessible. Like, it's hard enough with these shops closing down, selling comics. So I gotta go drinking with what's his name, Chip Mosher, the dude that from he used to be, I guess, from Comics. He started this distillery, and he's doing this like this distillery take on it, this like exclusive take, and it's like, look, man, yeah, you could be you can be your Glenlivet or whatever Scotch you want to be, but you could also be Evan Williams. You know what I mean? Give a good product that everybody could find. Yeah, like if you want to use whiskey terms, let's talk whiskey.
Right.
Let's talk Wild Turkey. You can find Wild Turkey anywhere. It's a good, high quality product. People are gonna pay what they pay wherever they find it, and you get your message out. You know what I mean? You don't have to be fucking green label Johnny Walker.
Right.
Like a lot of people that spend that much money on whiskeys, like, oh, it's too peaty. Yeah, and it's like, yeah, well, that's what you get. You're gonna get somebody saying it's peaty when they're paying $500 a shot. You know what I mean? Just just make you want to be like whiskey, give me fucking fucking don't give me Pappy, give me fucking Jack Daniels. Been here since Prohibition. Yeah.
Isn't there a
if you're gonna
Devil's Cut?
Oh, Jim Beam has a Devil's Cut. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
The Jim Beam
I love
Devil's Cut.
Devil's Cut.
It's amazing. Yeah.
It's really good.
I should have had that today to make it thematic for the show. Instead, I had just regular, which is regular Jim Beam with regular Coke. Delicious.
Mhm.
Yeah. But that's my beef with this distillery. And I'm going to get a hold of these guys and be like, hey, what the fuck? You know, like, let's, at the very least, give me the press copy so I can talk about it. You know?
Right.
And then when they ask me, like, where can I buy it? Oh. You know?
Right.
Like, I'm literally thinking of starting my own retail business just so that I can make sure I get those comics. Yeah. So be on the lookout for that. Mostcomics.com.
Mostcomics.com.
Yeah.
There it is.
Because, I gotta try to get these.
Y'all got anything else you want to say before we rate the Devil's Cut? Jay, you definitely have some stuff you want to say. I hear it. I feel it in my soul.
And your toes.
Okay, cool. Oz, what would you
how
rate?
would you rate our review?
It's 4 out of 5.
Thank you, Jay. Oz, what would you rate the Devil's Cut?
I think 4 is about right. They're not all good, but there's a bunch of them, so there's going to be something for everybody.
Right, exactly. Right.
Would you pay
$100
for that? I would give it. I would give it a 4. I like that they're giving me everything I'm going to be seeing in the next year or so, or at least a taste of what I could be seeing depending on the art, the group of artists and creators. So it's definitely like a 4 out of 5. And my cover is the only one I could buy was the $100 cover. So if you want to help us keep doing this, go to my eBay store.
Yeah. There it is. I'd give it a 4 out of 5 too. I feel like that's pretty much where it's at. I mean, like the highs are really high, the lows were low, and then the rest of the stuff in the middle, like there's some, like you get varying degrees throughout the book. But I mean, 4 pages is hard. I do know that, so I'll give them the props, or I'll give them the caveat that I know that it's not easy to do, but you can see some people know how to do it better than others.
If these are your first 4 pages of the comics you're going to be releasing later on in the year, like let's say these are those, like when
if that's what it is, I agree.
Looking at these covers, like how's that change? Does that change your perspective at all? Like for example, I looked at the Eduardo Rizzo, Brian Azzarello one, and it looked like it was literally the final page of them riding off in the distance on the horses is the cover for the issue 1. So how's that change your perspective of like when you see that in the stores? It's like,
it's like I would give it a try just because
the full issue.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be like, oh.
Now these books are like $10 a piece. By the way, these aren't normal price comics.
The J.B. McKelvey joint, I would buy for $10. Like that joint, I was like, wow, like I was blown away by it. I would buy that for $10. So, but everything else, I don't know. All right, let's do some final thoughts. All right, Jay, give us some final thoughts, buddy.
Just be good to your body. It's important.
Amen. Oscar, final thoughts.
I do very bad things to my body.
True.
I know you beat your
Moses
meat.
Magnum. Final thoughts, Moses Magnum.
Yeah, man. Hey, man. Just do what you do. But look, we got a lot of videos coming. We're gonna do some reviews, and man, enjoy the moments you got.
there it is. For the entire Fantastic Forum, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We appreciate you. We'll be back next week. Until then, we're out. Good night.